Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey guys. As you can see, this one's going to be pretty interesting. This is going to be pretty interesting. So, I guess for today, what we're going to be doing is T-Flame and I have kind of had a conversation behind the scenes about talking about wanting to do a live stream on something that I've been working on called Justice League Revelations, and here we go.
Let's get into it. All right, hold on, Jeffrey. Let me pull this up. We're gonna need. Hold on. All right. First panel?
So first, before I go, before we start, actually, let's go down the characters first and go for the generalization of the story last.
So what is this exactly that you're presenting today, Jeffrey? So everybody knows, this is something that you've been working on for a little bit now, and I'm pretty curious too. This is going to be my first time as well as everybody else's. Seeing this and hearing this I'll be new for me. This will be new. A lot of this will be new to me too. So, what exactly is this that you're working on? Give them a little detail, Jeffrey.
So, what I'm working on is obviously a Justice League story that I've been working on ever since. Really, I want to say about 5 years now. Like, I've been writing the script for 5 years now, and
wow.
Really, I've been working on this like for years now. And what this story is that it's basically like a huge time jump with a new cast of Justice League, of a new Justice League, and there's a new mysterious threat that needs to be taken care of, and this is really a multiversal threat. But the thing is, this really isn't your typical multiverse story where there's copycats and really hand-holding on that sort of thing. But I think it's a pretty unique story still, even though it's like 5 years in the making. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, I didn't know that, Jeffrey. I knew you've been working on this for quite some time, but I didn't know you've been working on it for 5 years. That's wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we start with all this, Jeffrey? And what inspired you? Is this like always been a passion project of yours? What inspired you to create this?
Well, as you guys can guess from the thumbnail, it kind of first started off as a inspiration from Snyderverse, and really the thing is it kind of turned into my own passion project, as the story kind of evolved from there. I've been editing it here and there, and really I just think it's like, and really it's really kind of like, it kind of is now like a passion project of mine where I want to put it out there, and hopefully eventually, once this writer's strike is done, I can make it into a movie. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's try to balance this out. See if I can balance this out more, Jeffrey. Not that way. That's definitely. I want to get it as even. Okay, hold on. Let me see something now, Jeffrey. Hold on. Let me stop sharing. I want to try to get this on the page as best as possible for you.
Okay.
Well, no, we don't necessarily want it that big neither. Let's try that one, and then is it on this? Okay, it still does it. All right, so we'll go. So that was probably the best way to present it, is how it was. Okay. Like there we go.
Okay. So
is that? Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, as for really the timing of this, I think the timing of doing this right now is perfect, with both the writer's strike going on and the kind of verge of AI having to do with Hollywood now is also a big factor in it, because I think that a lot of people really don't know the value of having human writers being presented, and also with the fact about how DC has always, and really the comic book genre has always been shaky and don't want to get anyone into a negative light and want to stay in a negative light. So really, this is also kind of like a fun thing for me to do, as things are going on, as a lot of these negative things are going on in Hollywood, to kind of like make a very fun and positive space.
Nice. And I just wanted to let you know, Jeffrey, the internet's lagging just a bit on your end, but not too bad. It's just the audio. There's a very, very slight lag. It comes and goes. But you're good right now. But I'll keep an eye on that for you as you go, to make sure that everybody can hear you clearly. You know what I mean? So we've got a comment that I want to read to you real quick for you get into it. And it's from Jason Galago. He said, "Get it out there, bro. Like Mikey Sutton with Dreamwalker."
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And just want to say what's up to Qatar, Jason, Slipknot fan. What's up, brother?
Hey.
And Movies TV Mad is happy with the new DC. James A. Crap. What's up, James? Aaron Fisher loves Lid 5. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Jeffrey, go ahead and get on into it, brother.
Okay, so let's get into some character breakdowns. So as you can see, this is a Batman that is on the picture, but a lot of people don't really know who is Batman in this story that's going to be in my Justice League. And this is actually Damian Wayne which is in the comic Batman Bethlehem. So yeah, and Kator, that's right. This is Damian, and so and really where Damien is in this journey is he kind of plays like the father, like the brooding father, tough love father role of the Justice League, and he's doing his best to honor Bruce's sacrifice at the end of Zack's arc, where Darkseid killed Bruce.
Nice. Okay, I see you, Jeffrey. All right, I see what you're getting at. I like that.
Yep.
All right. Next panel or
really, really.
Not to rush you. I just didn't know when. Just let me know when you want to switch panels.
Right now you can. And one more thing, since we're on Damien, I guess I could tell you something else. With Damien being Batman, he also has connections with the League of Assassins that's being led by Talia, who is the new leader, because Raish actually finally kicked the bucket, so to say, in that multiverse war with Darkseid. So right now, for the first time ever, I wanted to really kind of explore what if Batman actually had the connections with the League of Assassins.
Nice.
So that's going to be really fun for you to dive into. So you can go to the next panel now.
All right.
So now we go into the mother figure of this Justice League, Raven, and really with her, you kind of, with her being like more of like a Stone Cold loner type of character in the comics, what I wanted to do was with her, I wanted to explore kind of like what if she had this like motherly tendency about her, and really a lot of people, and really we actually get to explore the Damien and Raven relationship a lot more further than what animation and comics have really done. And I think that's going to be very fun and interesting for you guys to find out about, because I really did love writing their chemistry together in the script. Like, I really did. This really was a highlight for me. Do you blame you there?
Yep, I'm here, Jeffrey.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to grab some ice water. I heard everything you said though, but yeah, I mean, that's an angle that no one's never went at with Raven, and they've kind of hinted at a little bit in their own way with Raven and Damian Wayne in the animated movies.
Yeah.
A little bit about their relationship, but they've never really went at the multiple angles and really let you get inside their heads. And they never really, went at it long enough to get to see what it could mature into.
Yeah.
So that's pretty unique, and I like that. And Raven's been always kind of seen as kind of dark, mysterious, powerful, and sometimes at times savage. So I think that would
she's still a savage. Don't forget that. She's still a savage. She's still a savage.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think it would be neat to see can there ever be a motherly type of side? I think that would kind of, she's going to always stay true to her roots to a degree, but that's to see that kind of different side to her. I think that's also unique and would be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was really fun to delve into a different side of Raven.
We got Daniel Martin in the chat. He said Jeffrey is cooking, and Qatar said Damien and Raven. The Robins are always trying to, what's that say?
Tame Raven.
I don't know if tame is the word. They're trying to do something. I guess that's a real, that's a way of putting it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Next panel, Jeffrey, or is there some more?
Yeah, next panel.
Right on.
So this character is really someone who hasn't been used in animation or anyone outside of comics, which is Cassandra Sandsmark, or as I shortened her name to Cassie. So Cassie kind of plays like the middle sister role of this Justice League. And as you can see, as I'm talking about talking about this new Justice League, like these, like where Zach went for the Warriors side of things. I'm going for kind of like the family side of things, which is kind of like in terms of like movies. If I were to compare it to like in movie terms, it's kind of like The Incredibles, which I think was a very interesting way of tackling this. But as for Cassie, she kind of plays like the middle sister role of trying to keep everyone in the Justice League, like all of the younger side of the Justice League together as a whole, where Damian is kind of like the toughen up side of where Damian is kind of like the tough dad side of things, and Raven is, like I said, the motherly side of things. It was really interesting with having Cassie play as the middle sister, and she's been trained by three gods, actually, which are Aquaman, Diana, who is the new god, who is the goddess of war for Greek mythology. And I say Greek mythology because this is where the third god comes in, the third god is the Norse god of war, Tyr. And I really did like that idea of where of where where instead of you having like one mythology, you have like multiple mythologies that kind of happened at the same time, and there's kind of like this idea in my head about how each mythology is, if you learn from each mythology, you grow stronger in those terms with everything you learn. With knowledge comes great power, sort of, in a knowledge comes great power sort of way. So that was really kind of fun with it, and that's really kind of fun with that, exploring with Cassie.
Okay. All right, dude, it's just getting more interesting and interesting.
Oh, you have a lot of people you're gonna flip out when I tell you as this goes on further.
Sweet. All right. Sweet. That's dope. All right, next panel then, right?
Yep, next panel. Now, this character was actually in the Snyderverse and is actually in the comics. And this character is Zoe Lawton, who is the daughter of Deadshot. Now, this kind of goes into where Zoe is in her story is that Deadshot, who sacrificed himself, along with other parents of some other Justice League members. I'm not going to tell you right now. We'll get to that later. But yeah, right now, who Zoe is kind of like honoring her father in the sense of protecting Gotham in her own way, where she kind of plays like a Hawkeye character. I know that's a Marvel comparison, but that's the thing. In the comics, she actually does use a bow and arrow. She's very accurate with archery, and she's a very caring character in the Justice League, in this Justice League as well. So, yeah.
All right. Sweet. That's well, I didn't think that anybody would do that with this character. I kind of never really paid a lot of attention to her, like really just only in the movie. Did she come to my attention? And I think that this is a good like underdog type of character, in the sense of like, the awareness that she has to the general audience that this is something that definitely territory that no one's really delved into, and not with that angle especially.
Yep. So yeah,
that's pretty neat.
So yeah, let's go. Let's go on to the next one, and now this one is really going to be the most outlandish one of the Justice League members, probably the last person you would expect. So this character is called Lucy. Now, Lucy in the comics, and she really hasn't been explored. Like she has been shown in a DC comic, but it was really more of like a cameo sort of thing. So Lucy is the daughter of the Joker and Harley. So kind of like the backstory with her is that in my mind, Joker is that Harley had Lucy and really as kind of like a last gift or like a gift goodbye to the Joker, like one last gift goodbye. She actually gave Harley gave Lucy to the Joker, and as kind of like a parting gift, and because even though Joker abused Harley, there still was a part of Harley that cared about the Joker. And so what happened was, and there's still and still, as I said, with Zoe, there was some villains there was some other characters that sacrificed themselves in the war against Darkseid. Joker and Harley came together to protect their daughter, even though Harley was abused by Joker. So that's really kind of her backstory in that sense. And as for her right now, she's kind of like the technological genius of the Justice League, where she actually helped create ways for the multiverse to communicate with one another and so that everyone is up to date on everything. And that's really going to be a very key plot point in the script because, like I said, she kind of plays the technical genius where usually that would be Batman. You kind of have Damian being like the martial artist warrior of the Justice League. You have Lucy as the little sister, tech genius of the Justice League. And really, this was actually very fun to actually explore because she actually has her own place in the script, and it's actually pretty. And once you actually find out what it is, it's going to be very interesting. But in that sense, it kind of does fit Lucy's personality, which is kind of like the little sister, always looking at the positive sort of way. But at the same time, she isn't naive about the world, even though she's very positive.
Ah, okay. All right. That's another good spin on the character. That's a good way to flesh her character out. I really felt like, when they did show her a little bit, I really feel like when DC did kind of, go at this character, that they really didn't show enough layers to her. I didn't really feel like they didn't go as deep or far with the character, like at all. I feel like she was just kind of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In an Elseworlds kind of tale. And I
Yeah.
really feel like there was a lot of things they just left on the floor that they could have really did. So I think that there would be mass appeal if they handled a character like this, DC themselves. If they
Yeah.
handled a character like her and did it right, I think that there could be a mass appeal, the way that there is with her mother Harley Quinn, but even more so because this character has, there's more to be told, really, more than
Yeah.
surface level and the same old tale that we've heard before,
Mhm.
So that's pretty dope, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
All right,
Now,
here we go. This one will be interesting.
now Rose, I think it's going to be. Now, Rose is a very self-explanatory character, and right now I'm still working on her script as I'm doing right now. But yeah, I'm still working on her kind of story, on her backstory of my version of events, and really the backstory that I'm kind of giving her is that she was really hardly trained, just like how she always is in the comics. But the difference is in my version of events, it was actually kind of like how Slade kind of found out that he had cancer, and his powers couldn't help stop it. So what he wanted to do was he wanted to go out like a soldier to kind of prepare Rose for a war that he was paranoid about. And how I wanted to, and for that script, it's kind of like the Predator movie, but except instead of from the human's perspective, it's solely from the Predator's perspective, and if that makes any sense. Like, and really that script is kind of fun, and really, it was really fun. It's really fun kind of going into her action scenes as well, and really how she's been looking and how she's looking into in a updated version of this script right now. Like, what you guys are going to see is really the demo and that kind of outdated rough version of the script, but in this new version there's really a subplot with Rose going into trying to solve this mystery with the Court of Owls. And that right now that's really fun going into it as well, because before it just focuses on her warrior aspect, like the outdated one that you're going to see is going to focus on her warrior aspect, while for this newer version it kind of goes into the ninja aspect, so to say.
I like that, the ninja aspect. Okay, all right, yeah, I like that, man. Well, now will it do, when you say ninja aspect, like, is it gonna be like more different than like I don't know how they show like the League of Assassins acting, like, with their training? And
yeah, it's definitely gonna be a lot more different than that, because what she is also doing is instead of, like, here's the thing, like, Rose is kind of doing this alone, because even though she's a part of the League, she and Damien kind of know, because they kind of go a ways back in this new script that I'm working on, where they kind of understand one another, and they have a very much self-respect where Damien doesn't treat Rose like a child compared to most of the younger members of the Justice League. Okay. So that was really interesting to explore that kind of self-respect that Damien and Rose have for each other.
All right. See, I like that, Jeffrey. That's very well thought out, man. the connective tissue there, you know what I mean, between that and the characters that you've already broke down that you're doing. Basically I have to agree with Qatar. I think it was Daniel Martin in the chat. He said Jeffrey put more thought into this than Andy Muschietti did with the entirety of the Flash script. LOL. And I have to agree. There's a lot of connective tissue and layers there, and between the relationships and the characters, and I really like that. And I think that's something that other people will be able to get behind too.
So Cal is, as you can see, is really a Young Justice character and the son of Black Manta. Like, a lot of people kind of really don't point that out for some reason, that he is the son of Black Manta. And really, full transparency for this script that you're going to hear about in the podcast that I announced earlier. For full transparency, you're really not going to really know much about him, but he is kind of like very regal and is very protective of the throne and the lineage of the crown, because he was taken in taken in as a adopted son from Arthur, and really that was really kind of fun to explore in this new script. And really it kind of shows like a week, and it really kind of shows and really where it comes to really kind of like the royalty of the lineage and really the flaws, and really you kind of see like the flaws of the politics, and not just Atlantis, but also kind of like the flaws of politics in general through the eyes of Cal. And really, that was really kind of interesting, because he was really kind of, like I said, he's a very for the crown, for the lineage, but then he's starting to see these flaws in the politics of things, and really how politics are, that really questions himself and what he's doing. So that was really fun in that way. And I know I'm saying that it's kind of like, oh, so you're kind of like, it's not like a politics is bad sort of thing, but it's like either way, if politics are good, or even if politics are stable or good, there's still going to be cracks in it at all times. So that's how I wanted to tackle it, instead of a whole, oh, let's go do a whole Civil War sort of scenario. So, yeah, this was a very interesting way to tackle Cal.
Yeah. He's probably out of all the characters that you've broke down, that we've discussed so far, he's probably the only character that I know the least about. I've seen him briefly in Young Justice. I haven't even watched all of the Young Justice that's out, to be 100% honest with you. Other than knowing that he's, Black Manta's son. There was a little bit about him, but I don't think that I watched far enough to see where they took the character on there. But it sounds like, from what I can tell, like you're going like a pride and political route, which is a different angle with him.
Yeah,
and you said he's a protector of basically the sea and the throne. In some regard, kind of like the OG Aquaman is.
Yep.
Obviously, he'll have his own way of doing things. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But okay, that's cool.
So John, so this is probably going to be the most popular of the new cast, which is John Kent. Now, John Kent was a very interesting one to tackle with. Like he really was the most very interesting one to go about with him, because everyone in the comics, everyone outside wants kind of like John Kent to be this new Superman. But the thing is, I like this was made before. Like, now, before I say this was made before I saw his Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and this was also made obviously before Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So what?
Oh yeah, because you said that it's been 5 yees, since you've first started working on this. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Jeffery.
This was 5 years ago. So a lot of people are going to be comparing this John Kent to comparing my John Kent to Miles Morales, which is going to be completely unavoidable. But how I wanted to do it was really a very interesting way, where you actually have like this connection that he has, where something bad happens in John's life, that he actually goes to Lucy for help, Joker and Harley's daughter, for help, for kind of like help and mental support, and really it was very fun. And let me tell you, it was really, 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 really fun to actually build a relationship between the son of Superman and the son of the Joker. And
oh wow.
So this was really fun for me to kind of delve into, because this was it was really fun for me to actually delve into that whole storyline.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because in some versions, the Joker kills his mother. In some versions, Superman kills his father. In some versions, that's pretty. That's kind of it. That's some interesting territory to go into, because again, nothing like that's ever been tackled before at all.
Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, this one was really a really, really, really big highlight for me to do, for me to tackle. And yeah, I think a lot of people are really going to find that interesting and very fun.
All right. And last but not least.
Yep. The villain. Yep. The villain Grail. Now, wow, how am I actually going to talk about this? like, 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 I'm now for Grail, I'm gonna be now full transparency. I'm gonna be completely vague on Grail and what her character is compared to the comics. But
Well,
but
yeah, you don't want
basic,
to give too much away, but
yeah.
yeah.
But basically, I guess what I can say is, and this is probably gonna tell you like the rating, like if this movie were like if this script were to be made into a movie where Darkseid is a rated R villain, Grail is NC-17. Now, for those of you who don't know the MPAA, how they do things is they go G, PG, PG-13, and then rated R. But a lot of people don't know about the hidden one, which is really the last one, which is NC-17, which for NC-17 is for definitely adults only. We need to see your ID. It's kind of like going into a bar and the bartender asks you, "Hey, we need your IDs," sort of thing. So yeah, that's really how that goes, and really, oh man, I can't say like I want I want to say kind of delve deep into it, but the thing is I guess you can kind of I will say this, okay, where when I say what the one that the way Grail kind of separates herself from the where Grail separates herself from the rest of the pack, which is like Darkseid and everyone else. And I'm just talking about everyone else in general because I mean this when I say this a lot. Like if method screenwriting was a thing, then I probably did it with Grail because she was really the hardest character to write, not because of how she is, but because it was hard for me to actually hold myself back. Like it took myself where something would happen in a rated R movie and then something would cut away. Like Grail scenes do not cut away. Like you are actually seeing it full stop. She is not only she's the most brutal, the most smart. Like she's when I tell you she's smart, she's actually pretty smart. And when I say that,
smart and brutal.
yeah, I guess where I can say is, I guess I'll say this, where Darkseid is kind of where Darkseid focuses on his offense using his Omega beams. Grail focuses on hand-to-hand combat and rarely uses Omega beams. And really, I think that's really kind of like the scariest part. Because once again, can't like I said, I don't want to go into anything, but I will say this: from the word jump in the first act of the script, you will realize how serious and where I go with this Justice League script. And I'll tell you right now, I'll tell you this right now. I'll tell you this right now because I actually do have this in my Spotify. I do have this in my Spotify where I actually have this whole soundtrack playlist of kind of like that kind of plays like the demo of the soundtrack of the movie of the script and Grail, and I gave Grail two themes, which one is like a nerdcore song, but she has a action theme. She has a action theme called which the action theme that I gave her, where she's actually fighting and stuff, is Sephiroth's theme, One Winged Angel.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, so and really like that was really and really what also was the hardest part of this is that she is the anti-god, like where, and I really found that interesting about Grail is that she's actually the anti-god, and really that was really where I wanted to kind of tackle her in a sense where you actually see her interacting, and that was really the most fun part about it, because the thing is the anti-god is an actual thing in mythology. Like people think that Jeff Johns kind of created it. No, like the anti-god is an actual thing in mythology, and the anti-god is really what you would call like is kind of like the ultimate anti-person, anti-life, and anti-everything in general. And that was really, really hard for me to do, like I said, because I will say this one more time. The thing with Thanos, right? Like, let's use Thanos and Adolf Hitler, for example. Let's use them two as examples. Where Adolf Hitler had followers, Grail doesn't. Where Thanos has this whole thing where Thanos has this whole thing where he has followers and something else, she doesn't. Like she is like, and that's really where it was very hard to actually to do things as well, because you actually see her interacting. You'll actually hear her interacting a lot with Hero, with a lot of the cast, and everyone comes to agreement and saying, I know that you're I know you're bad, but Grail is something else entirely. I think we should definitely team up. Like it's that type of ball game. So yeah, like when I say Grail is no joke, Grail is literally no joke, full stop, from the word go.
She looks very menacing. She looks very menacing, and I was wondering too. Is she gonna be? Did you write this character? Is she deadly and sexy?
Yeah. And that's really where the NC-17 thing comes in, because let's just say that she does use her sexuality to a more deeper advantage than Catwoman and Black Cat together.
Yeah, and honestly, you know what I'm saying? I can totally see that for the character, and that was the first thing that was on my mind when you were talking about the rating system that you gave, and looking at the image of her and everything. And I think that with that character specifically, that's a solid approach, solid ass approach to her. That's why I said, you know, in certain ways she can do things. Go about things in a way that her father never could. to annihilate, destroy, you know, in whatever way that possible, you know, whatever she has at the tip of her hands, that abilities and skills. Like, she looks like she doesn't, you know, that she'll do whatever, you know, that no remorse, she'll just do whatever it takes to you know, to succeed at the mission at hand. That's but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more about her character and about the plot of, you know, of her being the big baddie of it all.
Yeah, and because that's really the thing. Also, like a big part of this is, and that's really another big part of this too, where people just know, where people just know where people just, like, whenever there's a character that just knows the villain, like, there's always that one person that knows, or that one hero that just happens to know about that just so happens to know about the villain. Like, none of the heroes, like, there really is only one person that knows who Grail is, and there's going to be a reason for that that's going to be explained. But there is only one person in this entire movie that knows who Grail is, and really, that's going to be like that's going to be like a huge plot point throughout this whole thing, because it's going to be like, man, who is Grail? What's she planning? What is her end game in all this? And then it's going to be, and I will say, it's probably going to be the reason is going to be very controversial, but it also fits in with her character as a whole, as to why no one really knows who she is. Like, you're gonna find it kind of lazy, but at the same time, when you think about it from Grail, she, like, it kind of makes sense from that point of view.
Okay. You know, I was wondering too, like, when this is how far are you along in completion with everything that you've been working on regarding this?
Right now I'm actually trying to get a cast together, trying to get a editor. So, but yeah, I got some people interested in voicing some characters, but we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I really do hope to get this out first via podcast, and then eventually, hopefully, into a movie once the writers' and actors' strike is done. But yeah, as of right now, until that's all said and done, this podcast route is going to be the first time you're going to experience it.
Okay. That's awesome, man. And Daniel Martin said in the chat, he said, "Are you going to cast Sophia Boutella as your Grail, Jeffrey?"
I don't know if I can reach her, but fingers crossed. I genuinely do hope so, but as of right now, I'm not really holding my breath. But
right.
I really do hope so. So yeah, I do hope so, Daniel. I do hope so.
Right on. Is there anything else, Jeffrey? That I think so far it's been pretty amazing. That was like a lot, man, and I'm sure that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that actually is, because there's quite a few surprises. There's quite a few surprises that in store in that script. Like I said with this multiverse angle, I didn't want to go at it in a variant type of scenario, so you're not gonna get a Damian Batman meets another version of Bruce. You're not gonna get another version of Raven. Like, you're actually going to go into other universes where there's actually kind of where there's other characters that kind of makes this a lot more interesting, because there's actually, especially with one universe and one set of characters that I actually introduced to this as well, that is actually going to be very interesting. And I do think, and I'm actually nudging here, I do think a certain other fandom will love this crossover that's gonna happen. This is man, I wish I could tell you, but man, just know that when this does come out, everyone is gonna lose their shit. Everyone's gonna lose their shit.
Well, that's good, man. That's the plan. Rated W for Warfield.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, as of right now, that's what I have for you guys, and I hope you guys like what you've heard so far. So
I'll be right back, Jeffrey.
So Daniel says, where can we get this at? The plan is to put this out on Spotify. The plan is to put this out on Spotify so that you guys can listen to your headphones on like long drives and stuff. So yeah, as of right now, the plan, my ideal plan, is to put this out on Spotify. So yeah.
Love it, Jeffrey. Daniel Martin.
Thanks, Daniel.
Well, all right, man. That was great. Like I said, guys, this is my first time really hearing 90% of this stuff with you guys for the first time live as well, myself. And I gotta say, it sounds pretty fucking amazing. That's what I think. And I'm rooting for my boy Jeffrey. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we'll have to see what happens. I really think that this thing could have massive appeal, especially obviously we got to go the steps, and there's a lot of legalities and things like that nature, and so much to go through. But I could see this. I could so see this like being an Elseworld DC movie, like, similar to like in the reigns of like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, like on a Black Label DC, so like its own thing, own universe. Similar to how we're.
I will say this: who said it was Black Label? Because that is who said it was Black Label.
Black Label?
Yeah, like, is it Black Label?
I don't know.
Like, is it Black Label? That's like, no, that's a serious question. Is it Black Label in my head? Like, is it like that's like? And I will say this. The ideal version of the script, okay? The ideal version of the script and the best way for it to have its effectiveness to me is that it's not a Black Label thing. It's not in its own corner. Like how I wanted to do this was that everything has been naturally connected to this point. So yeah, I will say it's not my ideal thing is that it's not Black Label.
Okay. So then, like, per the rating system, question then, would you have, this is just a question. Now, you know how, we all know, like, how Zack Snyder, right? How he is doing Rebel Moon with Netflix. How he is on his own accord for the first time. So because it's his original IP and everything like that, that he's doing with Rebel Moon, on his own accord for the first time, that's actually his idea. He is making a cut that, quote unquote, everybody can watch and enjoy. And then afterwards, there's going to be a cut that's for adults only.
Right.
Would there be, and this is just a question, would there, and I'm just trying to pick your brain a little, Jeffrey. Would there be a world in where maybe if this thing came to fruition, possibly you'd take a similar approach with this project, or you have something else in mind?
That's actually no, actually, because the thing is. Because that's the thing also with great. I will say this. If I were to take things out, most of it would have to be like 99% of it would have to be Grail's stuff. Now, the reason why that is because the thing is that with Grail, I actually wanted to do something where no one actually wanted to tackle a villain. Like, I will say that because that's the thing. Like, let me answer your question with a question where it. Like, do you like Darkseid?
He's pure evil. I mean, I love the evil bastard. I mean,
and there we go. And there we go. Like that's really another thing about the hardest part about why do you that's really the thing where Alan Moore was talking about how he wanted to do Rorschach, where Alan Moore wanted Rorschach to be unrelatable. Like the problem was with Rorschach and Alan Moore. And this is not knocking on Alan Moore. This is just something I noticed, where Alan Moore wanted to have a unrelatable person, where his flaw was he was going at it from a anti-Republican lens, because Alan Moore actually really doesn't like Republicans. So he kind of had like a political bias, and the thing is with the political biases, you kind of have people on the other side saying, "Hey, I actually like Rorschach. I actually understand where he's coming from." And really, that was really the hardest part to do with Grail.
Okay. That makes sense, Jeffrey. Well, you really thought out even the politics of everything. So yeah, man, this is gonna be fire, man. I think this is gonna be real fire, dude.
And yeah, Daniel, mine is going back to that question that you had about if there were to be a alternate cut for everyone to watch. There would be no compromises. There would be no compromises.
Right on, Jeffrey. I think that I that's okay. Well, I mean, I just had to ask because I'm not real familiar with all of the. I know that they say in the industry that in Hollywood that Hollywood is nothing but compromises, and we've seen Zach stay true to his vision and not compromise, and all the shit that he's taken for it. And I think that just because it works for Zach doesn't mean that that's the approach for everybody. But I was just curious about that because I was thinking about the NC-17 rating and mostly like having to do with Grail. I was thinking, the best way to get this out there so that everybody could see it. Maybe the Zach approach with like Rebel Moon, but again, that would be to a degree a compromise because you want the film that you created to be seen in theaters, not on home media.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that, and I respect that. And hey, I'm down for that. I was just very curious about that. What angle you were going at with that.
But yeah, in terms of like other people watching it, I think everyone can watch it once it goes to streaming because. But yeah, I think once it goes to physical DVD and streaming, like that's a thing. Also, if there were to be a alternate cut, I think that where it is more PG, I think it would honestly be a waste of time because, and this is coming from someone who actually has watched rated R movies as a kid, Matrix, Terminator, Halloween. The thing is, I really think that a alternate cut would be a waste of time in the long run because you're gonna have these pirators, you're gonna have these streaming platforms, like I said, and you're gonna have the DVD physical releases as well. So in the long run, I really don't see the point of the alternate cut. Unless you are solely focusing on a business aspect and wanting to put it in theaters, then yeah, I guess you could put it. Then I guess I could put it in. I guess I could put a PG cut in the theaters, but at the same time, it just won't work in the long run because, like I said, once it's out into the wild, so to say, everyone will be able to watch it, kids and adults. So yeah, if I were to actually go full blast, I would say no compromise, and I wouldn't make a alternate cut because at the end of the day, in the long run, what I don't see the point in a alternate cut once it's into the wild.
Okay. All right. There we have it from Jeffrey Warfield, the man himself. And I've got 4th of July plans. We're getting ready to drive out of town. Jeffrey, is there anything that you'd like to close out with? I think you pretty much knocked this live stream out of the park, bud.
To everyone in the live chat, I'm glad you guys tuned in for us rambling for an hour, and I hope, and to everyone in the replay crew, I hope you guys enjoyed some of this talk and some of these, and enjoyed hearing some of my ideas about like what you can expect from Justice League Revelations. And yeah, I really do hope to get this off the ground.
Man, I tell you what, you got my full support, bud. You know that. And like I said, man, just keep me up to date with what's going on with this, because my interest was already peaked, and now I'm extremely interested, even more so than I was. With that, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for this live stream. Support Jeffrey Warfield and his creative vision, and share this video, like it, all that shit, engage with it, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.